Okay, let's unpack this. Today we are diving deep into a source with probably one of the boldest titles you'll ever see.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
It's called How I Made Over $1 Million Using the Law of Attraction. The last law of attraction how-to or self-help book you will ever need to read by E.K. Santo.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's putting it all out there, right in the title. No messing around.
Absolutely not. And so our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. We're going to follow this author's personal journey, unpack his specific take on the law of attraction, what he actually calls the LOA recipe,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll pull out the core how-to steps and principles he lays out, within this specific book. We're really focusing on understanding what he claims worked for him
Right.
and what he says you can potentially do, using his story as the main example.
Right. And he's pitching this not just as like a get-rich-quick thing, but as a guide to fundamentally changing your whole life.
Yeah.
He positions his message as, not some brand new secret, but really just the basic foundations of LOA applied correctly and maybe more importantly, consistently.
So he's writing for people who feel like they've tried everything.
Exactly. For you, if you've maybe bought a stack of self-help books but haven't quite seen the results you were looking for.
Gotcha. So the promise is basically stop chasing the next shiny object, the next supposed holy grail, and just get back to these basics and apply them. That's what he claims made the difference for him.
That's his angle.
Yeah.
It's all about that consistent application of the fundamentals, according to his story.
All right, let's start at the beginning then. What was E.K. Santo's life like before all this kicked off?
Yeah, he paints this picture of like a really relatable start. After high school, skipped college, bounced around a few jobs, landed one as an assistant manager at a warehouse. So pretty average stuff, maybe even felt a bit stuck. He was living back home with his parents. But, and this seems key, he says he had this really intense, almost like a burning desire for wealth. Just no clue how to get there.
Okay, strong desire, zero strategy. That sounds familiar for a lot of people. What were his first moves to try and change things?
Well, like a lot of folks back in the late 80s, early 90s, he got hooked by one of those real estate infomercials, the Carlton Sheets kind.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Totally. So that sparked something. He dove in, bought the program, hit the library for more books, got tapes, went to seminars, even became a part-time real estate agent.
Sounds like he was taking action, right?
Yeah.
Following the steps. Did he strike it rich there?
Not even close. He's very upfront about it. Didn't buy any property himself, made one tiny sale as an agent. Basically, no real money came from it.
Okay.
But he identifies two absolutely crucial things that did happen during that time, almost by accident, that really steered him onto a different path.
All right, what were those key turning points?
First, while he was buried in all that real estate stuff, he stumbled onto Tony Robbins' Personal Power program.
Ah, okay. Big name.
Yeah. It was more NLP focused back then, but it kind of opened his mind to this whole world of self-help, personal change,
Right. And the second thing?
Second, while he was still sort of dabbling as a real estate agent, he met this young, successful stockbroker. This guy was apparently already super wealthy, no college degree either.
Interesting.
And this broker suggested Santo should look into becoming a stockbroker herself.
Wow, that's a big jump from real estate, especially since he didn't know anything about stocks.
Not a thing by his own admission, but those Tony Robbins tapes had him fired up, motivated, filled him with this new energy. So he decided, okay, let's jump into the stockbroker world.
So he becomes a stockbroker, did that for about 6 years, right? 93 to 99. Was this the direct path to the million?
It was definitely part of the path, but far from direct. And certainly not easy. He actually found out pretty quickly he hated the job.
Hated it. Why?
The constant cold calls, the rejection, just brutal hours. And the fact that he couldn't seem to make his clients any real money, he says that last part really gnawed at him.
Okay, if he hated it that much, why stick around for 6 whole years? That's a long time to hate your job.
Well, he says the main thing keeping him there was being surrounded by these other young guys in the office who were pulling in 6-figure incomes monthly.
Wildly.
Yeah. That potential, even though he wasn't getting anywhere near it himself, kept him motivated enough to persist. He also admits he wasn't really applying Robbins' ideas fully yet, just sort of feeling the general motivation boost.
Okay, so he's stuck in a job he hates, which kind of goes against a lot of self-help principles. How did he use something from Robbins to deal with that?
He remembered learning from Robbins that you're just not going to prosper doing something you genuinely hate. So he decided to try this simple technique, changing the question he kept asking himself.
Changing the question. How so?
Instead of asking, how can I possibly make money doing something I hate, he started asking what Robbins called a better question. How can I become wealthy from my career and enjoy the process?
And he just asks that once in a while.
No, he says he started asking it constantly. Every time he felt that dread or struggle, it became like a positive affirmation, but framed as a question. It kind of presupposed that both wealth and enjoyment were possible. And looking back, he reflects that this shift was really when, as he puts it, the universe started guiding him, like step by step.
Showing him how.
Even though he had zero clarity on the how, he felt like ideas, little inspirations, meeting certain people, weird coincidences, they just started falling into place.
Huh?
He felt like the universe was somehow supplying the exact circumstances he needed to eventually get to his goal of being wealthy, even if the path was confusing.
Okay, so this shifting questioning, this openness, did that lead him to figure out the stock picking thing?
Exactly. One morning, a new broker joins the office, and this guy is reading a financial paper Santo had never even seen before. Investor's Business Daily. And this new guy was making serious commissions by picking his own stocks, not just pushing the firm's generic recommendations. He showed Santo the paper, explained a bit about it, and Santo says that single encounter was totally life-changing for him.
Wow, another one of those seemingly random accidental discoveries leading him forward.
Yeah, definitely a pattern there. He realized this paper was a tool for actually picking stocks based on fundamentals, trends, not like the regular newspapers just reporting yesterday's news.
Right.
So he just immersed himself in learning stock picking. And this also made him realize that the brokerage firms, well, they taught sales tactics, not real trading skills. He got the feeling they didn't really care if clients lost money, but he did.
And the law of attraction books, they came into the picture around then too.
Yes, in what he calls his accidental start with it all. He was in a bookstore actually looking for a how to get rich in the stock market type of book.
Makes sense.
And he just happened to spot Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which Tony Robbins had recommended.
Another classic.
Right. He picked it up, started reading, and was just completely captivated by this idea of using your mind to create wealth, health, happiness, even coincidences. He bought it immediately, deciding he needed to study this whole creating process alongside learning the stock market itself.
Okay, so he's learning stock picking, reading Think and Grow Rich. Was he actually seeing results as a broker yet? Making money?
Still very little money, no. He felt like big things were on the horizon, but he couldn't get his clients to actually buy the stocks he was picking. Super frustrating for him.
I can imagine.
So he took a deep breath, remembered Robbins again, and asked that better question one more time. How can I become wealthy in my career and enjoy the process?
Okay.
But this time, instead of just asking it now and then, he started asking it all day, like a constant mantra in his head. And he focused on it with what he describes as a very powerful belief, which is, a huge concept in Hill's book.
And that's when things really started to shift, the big coincidences.
Yeah. Within one single week, he says, two major things happened. First, Wallace D. Wattles' book, The Science of Getting Rich, somehow just fell into his lap. He doesn't really explain the details, just that he encountered it right then.
Okay, another book finds him.
Right. And second, this small, forgotten $3,000 IRA account from an old job suddenly resurfaced. He ran into an old friend who happened to mention that former employees now had more control over those old retirement funds.
$3,000? That doesn't sound like much to start a $1 million journey with.
It wasn't. But he says it was just enough to start trading for himself, finally. He immediately clicked with Wattles' book, too, found its system maybe simpler, more direct, still not fully realizing it was all rooted in the law of attraction.
So he used the 3K to trade.
Yep. Put the $3,000 into his own trading account, started applying what he was learning, and in just 3 months, he says, it grew to $18,000.
Whoa. Okay, that's significant growth.
Huge. That's when he really felt like, okay, this is it. This is my calling, my passion, trading for himself.
But knowing these stories, it probably wasn't a straight line from 18K to $1 million.
Far from it. Trading for himself immediately caused problems with the brokerage firms he was working for. They wanted commissions from client trades, obviously.
Right. Conflict of interest.
Yeah, and apparently other brokers started using his stock picks too, which created more friction. He ended up having to leave firms multiple times, move around a lot, and basically live off the small profits he was making from his trading.
So he couldn't really build the account.
Exactly. He kept needing to withdraw the money to live on, so the account just couldn't grow substantially. He felt so close to his dream, but these obstacles kept popping up.
Okay, so another period of frustration, which usually precedes another breakthrough in these stories.
You got it. By 1998, he decided he had to go all in. He left the brokerage business entirely to trade full-time, sold his condo, moved into his in-laws' basement with his wife,
Wow.
with about $40,000, which was pretty much their life savings, to trade with.
That's a huge leap of faith.
Massive. And he was making money, but again, just enough to scrape by. The account just couldn't build because they needed the income. So once again, he stepped back and asked that better question, but focused it specifically on trading this time. How can I become a really successful trader and enjoy the process?
And did the inspiration hit again?
It did. One night, the thought just struck him. The answer has to be in the actual instructions of these LOA books he had, Hill and Waddles. He had this sudden realization that he had only been using them, in his own words, half-assed.
Okay.
So he decided right then, for no real logical reason he could pinpoint at the time, to fully immerse himself in Think and Grow Rich. Like, follow every single instruction in that book exactly as written.
And did another coincidence follow that commitment?
Absolutely. Almost immediately, something seemingly unrelated but inspiring happened. He was back in a bookstore looking for trading books this time.
Right.
And he wanders into the personal development section and spots Jacques de Gouin's creative visualization. The title just grabbed him. He skimmed it right there and instantly felt like, this is it. This is exactly what I need.
Why that book specifically?
He credits its really simple, clear language about visualization, imagination, the law of attraction. He felt it made the concepts much easier to grasp than the, older style of Think and Grow Rich. Made it more actionable for him.
So he started combining the techniques.
Yeah.
Visualization from Gouin with Hill's principles.
He did. Started integrating the methods from creative visualization with the core ideas from Think and Grow Rich. And he claims that applying these techniques together moved him forward so fast, so unexpectedly, that even looking back now, he's still kind of amazed by it.
And the core technique was really visualizing his desired future, like it was already here.
Precisely. He started doing daily visualizations, picturing himself as this incredible trader, already wealthy, living the dream life, the house, the cars, the travel, all of it, especially doing it before bed and right after waking up. But the absolute key, he stresses this over and over, was holding the feeling of having the end result, having his desires fulfilled with complete unwavering faith. He made this internal commitment to maintain that faith no matter what.
Okay, no matter what, but then life happened, right? Something came up that most people would see as a huge roadblock.
Yeah, he describes it almost like the universe playing a trick on him, testing that faith. About a week after committing to this intense visualization practice, his wife comes home from the doctor and announces she's pregnant and totally understandably tells him, okay, honey, you need to get a real job now. Give up this trading dream.
Wow. That is the ultimate test of unwavering faith, isn't it? Getting news that seems to completely shut down your goal.
It really is. He says he felt like he just dropped into a deep, dark pit. He was angry for a moment, seriously questioned if any of this LOA stuff actually worked. He thought about giving up the dream, going back to being a regular stockbroker.
But he didn't give up the visualization.
That's the crucial part. He made a conscious choice. Over the next 5 days, while he was mentally preparing to look for those real jobs, he refused to stop his visualization practice. He kept doing it.
And then the manifestation, the opportunity, appeared.
On that following Sunday, he gets the newspaper, just like his wife asked, opens it up to the help wanted ads.
Yeah.
And immediately he sees these ads, traders wanted. He was just floored. He had no idea that proprietary trading firms even existed, places where you trade the firm's money, not your own. And one of these firms was just 15 minutes from his house. They were looking for experienced traders, but also open to training newbies.
That timing.
Yeah.
Right after the pressure to get a real job?
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. So he goes for an interview and they offer him a trial period. 3 months of learning, then 3 months trading the firm's capital. He'd get a small salary draw against a profit split, but only if he was successful.
Did he take it? Even though it wasn't trading from home like he wanted?
He took it. He saw it as an incredible, unexpected opportunity falling right into his lap.
And this trial period, this led to the big breakthrough.
Yes. After the first 3 months, the firm was impressed. They moved him to the next stage. He starts trading live, learning from the senior guys, getting that small salary. Then, in December 1999, his official trial ends. And they basically give him the green light to, as he puts it, put the pedal to the metal. That very first month trading fully, His gross profit was over $48,000.
48,000 in 1 month after
Yeah.
just scraping by with his own little 40K account before. That's huge.
It's an absolutely massive leap, and he claims that from that point on, for the next 11 years, he never had a single losing week. Consistently earned a solid six-figure income plus bonuses.
Incredible.
And for the 6 years leading up to when he wrote the book, he'd achieved the ultimate dream. Trading from home, in his pajamas, still maintaining that steady six-figure income.
Wow. So looking back at that really difficult moment, the pregnancy news, the pressure, how does he frame that now?
He reflects that his path was never ever straight. It was always twisting and turning, but the final outcome was actually even better than what he had originally visualized.
Mm-hmm.
He now sees his wife's pregnancy and that whole need for a real job pressure not as a setback at all, but as a necessary event, almost orchestrated by the universe to guide him precisely to where he needed to be, which eventually did include trading successfully from home. He really credits his conscious choice in that moment to overcome the doubt, the fear, and stick with his faith and his visualization as the absolute turning point. Belief and faith, he insists, are the most important things.
Yeah.
And he also notes, interestingly, that the resources he found early on, Waddles, Hill, Gawain, Robbins, they were actually all he truly needed right from the start. If only he'd applied their instructions fully and with dedication back then. He didn't even consciously know he was using the law of attraction by name at first.
Right.
He just presents his whole story as like tangible proof that these simple principles work when you apply them persistently.
Wow. It's a really powerful story. Hitting rock bottom or close to it multiple times, but keeping that core desire and that belief alive, even when things look totally impossible.
Definitely.
And it wasn't just passive thinking, was it? It involved taking specific actions based on those inspirations he got, like learning stock picking, finding that trading firm.
Exactly. It's this mix of the internal work, the mindset, the belief, the visualization, and then being responsive externally, acting on those opportunities that showed up, even if they weren't exactly how we first pictured.
Okay, so that's the journey that got him there. Now let's dig into how he explains it actually works. He uses a pretty simple metaphor for the law of attraction.
Yeah, he tries to boil it right down. He basically says LOA and creation are the same thing. He says, you're like a magnet.
Okay.
Creation always starts in your mind with your thoughts. Thoughts have energy, a vibration, and they naturally attract other thoughts, ideas, circumstances, people that match that same vibration.
He touches on the idea that everything is energy, quantum physics maybe, but doesn't get bogged down in the science.
No, not really. He mentions it briefly, maybe just a hint that there could be a scientific basis, but he quickly pivots back to the practical side. His goal isn't proving why it works scientifically.
Right.
It's teaching you how to use it to get what you want. He keeps it very focused on application.
And his simple metaphor for the whole process.
It's the cake metaphor.
Yeah.
He says the law of attraction is a law, just like a recipe is a kind of law in baking. You need specific ingredients, you need to follow the instructions, do that, and you get the result you want. He says, basically, I'm going to give you the recipe.
All right, a recipe. So what's the essential equipment you need for this LOA cake before the ingredients?
The equipment is you. More specifically, it's your vibration and your overall state of being. Think of yourself as the mixing bowl.
Okay, the mixing bowl.
He says your emotional state is your vibration. The universe, he claims, is primarily tuned into how you're being. So if you're being happy, you attract more happy outcomes. If you are being wealthy in your feeling, you attract wealth. You attract what you are vibrating.
So basically, feel good, attract good things. Feel bad, like life sucks, and you just attract more stuff that confirms that feeling.
That's the core idea he presents. Your general state of being, your dominant emotional frequency, that's what the universe is responding to, according to him.
Okay, makes sense within that framework. And if your mixing bowl isn't feeling so great, if you're feeling down or negative, how does he say you can change that state?
Well, the very first step is just making the conscious decision that you want to change it. That sounds simple, but it's key.
Right.
Then he offers a few really practical tools. One big one is physiology.
Physiology, like your body.
Exactly. He claims that changing your physical body, how you stand, how you move, your facial expression instantly shifts your emotions and your vibration. Stand up straight, pull your shoulders back, or especially just smile. He says it's almost impossible to feel genuinely bad when you're putting a real smile on your face. He suggests practicing these physical shifts until they become automatic habits.
Interesting.
What else? Another huge one is inner speech. You know, that constant conversation running in your head?
Oh yeah, the self-talk.
Right. He says that inner talk dictates how you feel about yourself, about your life. So, job one is to stop the negative, self deprecating stuff, calling yourself an idiot, beating yourself up.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Totally.
Mm,
But he says become conscious of it. Maybe pretend you're talking to someone you love, like your grandma or a little kid. Would you talk to them that way? Probably not.
good point.
Then consciously change it to positive, uplifting talk. Even better, frame it as positive questions like, why am I so lucky? Or why does everything always seem to work out for me? He says this takes self-control, but it directly steers your thoughts and eventually your life.
Okay, physiology, inner speech, anything else for changing your state?
Yeah, affirmations. These are just direct ways to steer your thoughts. Positive statements you repeat like, I am wealthy, or money flows to me easily and effortlessly.
Standard self-help tool.
Pretty standard, yeah. He suggests using them often, especially morning and night when he says the subconscious is more receptive, but also throughout the day. And he thinks the best affirmations are the ones you create yourself that really resonate with you. And then maybe a step above affirmations, he really champions empowering questions.
Like the why am I so lucky example.
Exactly. He argues the mind is kind of compelled to find answers to questions, especially if they have a positive assumption built right in. So instead of just stating, I am wealthy, you ask, why does wealth always flow to me so easily? He finds this incredibly powerful and suggests using these kinds of questions constantly. Turn your affirmations into questions your mind has to answer positively.
Okay, so that's the equipment, getting your own state, your vibration, positive using physiology, inner speech, affirmations, and those empowering questions.
Yeah.
Now, what about the actual ingredients for the LOA recipe?
Okay, ingredient number one, desire. But not just any desire. He calls it a burning desire.
Burning desire. Okay, what's the difference?
It's not just a casual want like, yeah, a new car would be nice. It needs to be strong, passionate, intense. And crucially, the thought of it, the desire itself, must feel good.
Feel good.
Yes. He contrasts just wanting a car with the feeling, the visceral positive emotion of imagining yourself driving that specific dream car, feeling the leather seats, hearing the engine purr, just feeling totally awesome. That positive emotion attached to the desire is key.
So the emotions around the desire are critical.
Absolutely paramount, according to him.
Right.
The emotion has to be positive excitement, joy, passion. He strongly warns against just living by default, constantly reacting to negative stuff, because you'll just attract more unwanted things that way.
Like the classic example he gives.
Yeah, the classic example of constantly fearing losing your job. By focusing so much energy and negative emotion on that fear and the thought of losing the job, well, you might just manifest getting fired. The focus has to be purely on what you do want, fueled by strong, positive feelings. He also really stresses clarity and specificity when it comes to desire. The clearer you are, the more detailed you are about exactly what you want. The easier it is, theoretically, for the universe to deliver it. He suggests asking yourself why you want something. That helps add detail, clarifies the purpose, and makes the manifestation more likely and maybe even faster.
Okay, burning desire, clarity, positive emotion. It's ingredient one. What's ingredient number two?
Belief, or, as he often calls it, faith and trust. And he states this unequivocally, like this is the most important ingredient of all.
Most important. More than desire.
That's what he says. Cannot stress this enough, is how he puts it. Without genuine belief, he claims, LOA simply will not work for you. The law itself might always be active, but it won't bring you what you want if you don't truly believe it's possible for you.
He uses his own book title as an example, right?
Yeah, he basically asks, do you believe making $1 million using this is possible? If other people have done it, he argues, then the possibility clearly exists, so why not for you?
Right. But believing it's possible in general versus believing it's possible for me personally, that's often the huge hurdle for people.
That is exactly the challenge he highlights. He says most people immediately jump to, yeah, okay, but how could I ever do that? And boom, right there. Doubt creeps in and sabotages the whole thing.
So what's his solution? Belief isn't always easy to just switch on.
He insists belief is ultimately a choice. Even though most of our limiting beliefs are just old programming from past experiences or what others told us, he offers that powerful reframe. The past does not equal the future.
Okay.
Your own personal belief in what is possible for you right now, that, he says, is the real holy grail, not some external secret. And how do you change those old beliefs? How do you build that unwavering faith he talks about? His advice is practical. Start small.
Start small.
Yeah. Don't try to manifest $1 billion tomorrow if that feels totally unbelievable to you right now. Choose a desire that feels achievable, something you can actually wrap your head around manifesting. Maybe something fun and inconsequential.
Like his famous blue feather story. Is that where this comes in?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
his go-to personal example for building belief through evidence. He was skeptical about LOA himself at one point and wanted concrete proof it worked.
Right.
So he decided to try and manifest something really specific and unusual, something he wouldn't just randomly stumble upon, a blue feather.
Okay. So what did he do?
He wrote it down. Manifest one blue feather. He visualized finding one daily, really tried to generate positive feeling about it for about 3 days. He started seeing feather images everywhere on TV, in movies, logos, maybe. Then a friend accidentally knocked over a plant on his porch and a big gray feather fell out. He was kind of confused, eased up on the intense visualization a bit, but the blue feather idea was still floating around in his mind.
And then the actual blue feather showed up.
Yes, on day 6, he was literally about to walk out the door to get a haircut when 2 blue jays started fighting, like dive-bombing each other, and landed right on his car windshield.
Whoa.
When they flew off smack dab in the middle of the glass was this perfect, bright, vibrant blue jay feather. He calls that his absolute aha moment, his epiphany. All doubt, he says, just vanished instantly.
That's a pretty compelling story.
Ah.
And it fits his framework of these coincidences being the universe responding.
He uses it precisely to illustrate how to build belief. Start small, pick something believable to you, visualize it vividly with positive feeling, be open and alert for signs and coincidences. And he strongly recommends keeping an evidence journal. Write down every little manifestation, every synchronicity, no matter how small, to build that proof for yourself.
And he warns that even a tiny bit of doubt can stop things.
Yeah, he says even 1% of doubt can act like resistance, like a barrier to receiving. You have to cultivate that unwavering belief, starting small and building up.
Okay, so we have burning desire as ingredient 1, unwavering belief faith as ingredient 2. What's the third core ingredient in his recipe?
Ingredient 3 is gratitude, which he really pairs closely with the concepts of allowing and receiving.
Okay, gratitude. How does that fit in?
So you've asked for what you want with desire. You've started believing it's possible with your imagination and faith. Now, he says, you have to actually allow it to come in and receive it. And this is where he thinks a lot of people stumble.
Why? What goes wrong here?
Often it's impatience, but even more crucially, it's focusing on the lack of the thing you want.
Focusing on lack. Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure. Let's say you're visualizing having your dream car. You do your visualization, you feel great. Then you walk outside, look at your empty driveway, and for even a split second, you feel that pang of, oh, it's not here yet?
Yeah, that happens.
In that moment, he argues, you're sending out a vibration of lack. You're noticing its absence. And the law of attraction, just doing its job, responds by bringing you more, well, lack, more absence of the car.
Ouch. Okay, so how does gratitude fix that? How does it help you allow and receive?
He calls gratitude the champion of emotions. He sees it as this powerful combination of all positive feelings, appreciation, joy, contentment rolled into one. And it has this amazing ability to instantly change your state, your vibration, and completely override that focus on lack.
Yeah, so.
Because you always have a choice to be grateful for something, right? Even if things are tough, you can find something, your health, a roof over your head, a sunny day, anything. Starting your day just listing things you're grateful for immediately shifts your focus away from problems and onto what is working, what you do have.
So practicing gratitude changes your state of being.
Exactly. He claims that when you consciously practice gratitude, you start being grateful. And then the law of attraction naturally brings you more things to be grateful for. It's a virtuous cycle.
And it works with the other ingredients.
Yes, he stresses that mixing gratitude with your desire and belief creates this incredibly potent, positive energy. You must feel good to create effectively. Being genuinely grateful for what you have right now puts you in the perfect state to create a future you'll also be grateful for.
So gratitude for the past, present, and future.
Yeah, that feeling of being grateful for what was, what is, and what's coming. He calls that positive expectation. And positive expectation equals allowing the good things to flow in. How you feel, he says again and again, is your ultimate indicator. Feeling great, you're allowing. Feeling rotten, you're resisting.
I even pulled a quote from The Science of Getting Rich about this, didn't he?
Yeah, something about how gratitude draws your mind closer to the source, the origin from which all blessings flow. So he summarizes the whole basic formula like this. You need to maintain that positive state of being, using your physiology, your inner speech, those empowering questions, and then deliberately apply the core ingredients. Burning desire, unwavering belief, and consistent gratitude.
And the feeling is the feedback loop.
Absolutely. If you feel joy, be grateful for that joy, and you'll attract more joyful experiences. Feeling good is foundational. The better you feel, the higher your vibration, the happier you are overall, and the easier and faster manifestation becomes, according to his model.
All right, that makes sense. We've covered the equipment, which is you, your state of being, and the core ingredients, desire, belief, gratitude. Let's move into section 3, the techniques. This is about mixing it all together, right? And the main method he emphasizes is visualization.
Exactly. He presents visualization as the primary practical method for conscious creation, using your imagination. You've got the mixing bowl ready, your positive state, you've got the ingredients measured out. Now it's time for the actual cooking process.
Okay, so what's the basic visualization technique he lays out? He says it's simple, but was key for him.
Yeah, he keeps it pretty straightforward. Here are the basic steps he outlines.
Desire. Just get clear again on what you want. And he repeats the advice. Maybe start with something small and believable, just to build your confidence first. Write it down.
Okay, write it down.
Number 2, relax. Find a comfortable spot, sit or lie down, somewhere you won't be disturbed. Take several slow, deep breaths. Consciously relax your whole body, maybe scan from your toes up to your head, releasing tension.
Get centered.
Right. Number 3, belief. This is the main event. You imagine your desire as already happened, right here, right now. Make it as vivid and specific as you possibly can. Use all your senses. What do you see? What do you touch or feel? Smell, taste, hear.
Engage everything.
Yes, but most importantly, feel it. Feel the emotions as if you already possess it in this very moment. He says have fun with it. Live it out in your mind as if it's totally real, because he claims your subconscious mind accepts it as real.
Okay, feel it now.
Number 4, positive statement. While you're in that visualization, holding that feeling, say strong, positive, good-feeling statements to yourself about your desire. It can be silent in your mind, or even whispered aloud if you want.
Reinforce it verbally.
Number 5, time. How long do you do this? He suggests starting with just a few minutes, then gradually build up to maybe 10 or 15 minutes per session, and aim for 2 or 3 times a day. He finds right before bed is often easiest because you can just drift off to sleep holding that feeling.
Makes sense. And the last step.
Number 6, an ending statement. He recommends finishing each session with a specific kind of statement. His personal one is something like, this or something even better now manifests for me in easy and harmonious ways for the highest good of all concerned.
Why that specific wording?
It does 2 things. It keeps you open to receiving something even better than you initially imagined. Maybe the universe has a better plan. And the highest good of all part is about ensuring, from his perspective, that your manifestation benefits everyone involved, creating positive ripples.
That's a really structured approach. It seems very actionable. What are his main pointers for making this visualization effective?
He really emphasizes that your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between something vividly imagined and something actually happening in reality. So the images, and especially the feelings you generate during visualization, are received by the universe as real. And by the law of attraction, that reality must eventually be reflected back to you.
So the stronger the feeling, the better.
Yes, and the stronger your conscious belief is while you're visualizing, the more powerfully you impress that reality onto your subconscious, which he believes speeds up the manifestation process and makes those coincidences pop up faster. You have to be open and watchful for those coincidences that are the universe delivering the goods, often in unexpected ways. And he circles back to it again and again. Feel good. The positive emotion isn't just a byproduct. It's crucial fuel for the process. It makes visualization enjoyable, not a chore, and much more potent. He even suggests asking empowering questions about the process itself, like, how can I feel really great while I'm doing this visualization?
Love that.
And finally, practice. It's a skill. And make a conscious decision to believe it works, to give it your all, and actively push past any doubts that come up. He warns again, even that tiny 1% of doubt can act like resistance and slow things down.
He mentioned a similar technique too, didn't he? Besides just visual images.
Yeah, briefly. Using spoken words or a mantra. Basically, repeating a specific phrase or statement, either aloud or just in your mind, but doing it with strong intention and passion.
Okay.
He notes that even if you're focusing on the words, mental pictures and feelings will still naturally arise as you repeat them. So you could potentially combine visualization with repeating a powerful affirmation or mantra.
Gotcha. So, if he lays it out this clearly, why does he think people often struggle with this or, fail to get results?
He's pretty blunt about it. He basically thinks people just don't want to do it consistently. It feels like work, maybe, or it takes some time they feel they don't have.
Yeah, consistency is hard.
It is. So he throws down a challenge directly to you, the listener. He asks, okay, how is your current method for getting what you want working out for you?
Ooh, good question.
Right. If it's not really working, he urges you to put your faith fully into this specific method, as he's laid it out, and practice it diligently. Because, he argues, look at his story, it demonstrably worked for him.
So, the core how-to boils down to consistent, feeling-fueled visualization, built solidly on that foundation of desire, belief, and gratitude, all starting from cultivating your own positive state of being.
That's the essence of the practical system he presents in the book, yes.
Okay. In the final section of the book, he briefly touches on some additional tools and concepts that kind of support this whole process. What else does he bring up?
Yeah, he rounds it out with a few important related ideas. First, he talks a bit about his perspective on the universe, source, God, whatever term you prefer.
And what's his take?
It's very personal. He shares his belief that the universe is fundamentally loving and supportive, that we have free will, and that our core purpose here is simply J, O, and Y. But he's very careful not to be prescriptive. He doesn't tell you what you should believe religiously or spiritually. Just find what resonates, what feels best and most empowering for you.
Okay, fair enough. What else?
He also discusses the idea of the flow of the universe and the opposite of that, which is resistance.
Resistance. We talked about doubt being resistance. What else counts?
He uses this analogy of a river, trying to paddle upstream, struggling against the current. That's resistance. It feels bad. It's hard work. And he says resistance, which often manifests as negative feelings or limiting beliefs we might not even be aware of, like old ideas about money being evil or hard work being the only way to succeed, blocks the natural flow of manifestation, blocks the good stuff from coming in.
And to deal with that resistance, he talks about clearing it.
Exactly. He circles back to using those fundamental tools, first changing your inner speech, shifting your physiology. But he acknowledges that sometimes resistance is deeper, more persistent. In those cases, he suggests maybe considering professional help, like coaching or therapy.
Does he offer any specific clearing techniques himself?
He briefly lists the steps for a general emotional clearing process. It involves becoming aware of the uncomfortable feelings or thoughts without judgment, allowing yourself to really feel them, then tracing them back to their likely origins, often in childhood, kind of nurturing that younger part of you that formed the belief, and then consciously choosing to let the feelings and the old belief go.
Okay, sort of a self-therapy approach. Does he mention other established methods?
Yeah, he mentions he's aware of things like the Silva method or the Sedona method as ways people use to clear emotional blocks, but he hasn't personally needed to use them. He includes them just so you know they exist if you feel drawn to look into them.
But there is one specific clearing method he has used himself and encourages people to explore if they're really stuck with resistance.
Yes, that's EFT, or Tapping Emotional Freedom Technique.
Tapping. What's that?
He admits he was pretty skeptical at first, mainly because he thought it looks goofy. But he tried it and says he personally experienced positive results in shifting negative feelings.
How does it work?
He's not an expert, but he describes it basically as tapping with your fingertips on specific meridian points on your face and body while you repeat statements related to the issue you want to clear. Like you might voice a fear or a limiting belief while tapping on these points, with the intention of releasing the emotional charge associated with it.
Interesting.
He kind of speculates that maybe it was the combination of the repetitive affirmations along with the physical tapping that was effective for him. He suggests, looking it up on YouTube or elsewhere if you're finding that resistance is a particularly stubborn challenge. Worth exploring, he thinks.
Okay. What about meditation? Is that part of his toolkit?
Oh, highly recommended by him. He calls it one of the absolute best ways to clear your mind, calm your body, reduce resistance overall, and just access a state of peace and happiness.
Does he meditate himself?
Yes, he says he meditates daily. And he points out that the relaxation step he recommends before visualization is actually very similar to entering a meditative state.
Does he give instructions?
Pretty simple ones. Relax, breathe deeply, maybe do a body scan, perhaps count down mentally to reach a calm state, focus gently on your breath or a simple mantra, and just allow distracting thoughts to float by without engaging them. He also mentions trying binaural beat programs as a potential aid to help get into deeper meditative states more easily. He firmly believes meditation significantly increases your power to create.
Makes sense. He also briefly touches on goals and purpose,
Yeah.
right?
He basically sees goals as being the same thing as your desires or intentions. He advises setting them down, maybe write them down, give them a time frame, make them clear, but importantly, don't get stressed out about them, especially if you tend towards anxiety.
So don't make huge, overwhelming lists.
Maybe not initially. He suggests focusing on manifesting a few powerful but believable desires first. Build that momentum, build that belief, then maybe create longer goal lists if that feels good to you. Be flexible.
And purpose. What's his take on our life purpose?
It's beautifully simple, actually. He says, your purpose is JOY. That's it. Find what brings you joy. Find your natural talents. Use them. Share them with the world if that feels right. And just generally aim to be as joyful and happy as you possibly can be. I like that. And finally, he wraps things up by talking about the big one, love. Yes. He describes love as the ultimate reason for our being here. It's the essence that encompasses all those other positive emotions we've talked about, joy, gratitude, appreciation. He even notes that sometimes the law of attraction is called the law of love. He says, you can't really imagine a fulfilling life without love. He encourages opening yourself up to both giving and receiving love freely. It changes everything, makes us better people. In his view, ultimately, love is all that truly exists. Your purpose is joy, and your reason for being is love.
So be loving to attract love.
Exactly. Love yourself, love others, just be loving in your state of being, and the law of attraction or the law of love will naturally bring more love back into your life.
He apparently summarizes a lot of these key takeaways in a cheat sheet at the end of the book.
Yeah, he does. Kind of a quick reference guide. It recaps the core questions to ask yourself, the main steps for doing the visualization technique, and those quick reminders on how to actively shift into a great feeling state using your physiology, affirmations, empowering questions.
And the bottom line message remains the same.
Absolutely. The ultimate takeaway he keeps reinforcing in the cheat sheet and throughout the book is really simple. When you consistently manage to feel really good, genuinely good, you become an energetic match for more good things. And the law of attraction, just doing its job, brings more goodness into your experience. Feel good first.
Okay, so to wrap up this deep dive into E.K. Santo's book, we've walked through his personal story, his journey. Definitely wasn't a straight line, involved some major ups and downs, but was marked by key shifts in thinking and persistent action fueled by that burning desire.
And we've unpacked his specific recipe for using the law of attraction. Starts with your own positive state of being, that's the essential equipment. Then you add the key ingredients, that burning desire, unwavering belief built through evidence, and consistent, heartfelt gratitude.
Right. And then the primary cooking technique he advocates is that consistent, feeling-infused visualization, supported by other tools like managing your inner speech, asking empowering questions, and having methods for clearing resistance, whether that's through physical shifts, maybe trying tapping or practicing meditation.
Exactly. And his core message, you hear it again and again, is that none of this is some hidden secret or complex magic.
Yeah.
The real challenge and where the real power lies, what he calls the Holy Grail, isn't about finding some undiscovered technique.
Right.
It's about cultivating your own personal belief in what's truly possible for you, and then diligently, consistently applying these fundamental principles. And crucially, constantly choosing to manage and overcome doubt and fear, which he really flags as the main forms of resistance that stop people.
He strongly asserts that if you, the listener, have read other self-help or LOA books but haven't gotten results, it probably wasn't the information itself that was lacking.
Right. He suggests it was more likely the consistent, faith-filled application of the instructions that was missing, probably because of that internal resistance, those doubts and fears getting in the way.
So this book is presented not just as an interesting story or a theory, but really as a set of specific instructions he's urging you to follow. And he makes that bold claim that the law of attraction is always working anyway.
Yeah, bringing you whatever you're focusing on with strong emotion, even if it's something you desperately don't want, like his example of fearing job loss and then potentially attracting it.
Which, based purely on his framework then, raises a really fascinating, maybe provocative question for you to consider. What if consciously, deliberately, consistently shifting your internal focus and your emotional state, regardless of what your current external circumstances look like? What if that is the actual mechanism for changing your reality, just like he claims it worked for him on his journey from frustrated broker to successful trader?
Yeah, what might the impact be if you really committed to making a sustained effort to be wealthy first in your feeling or be joyful first in your being? Truly believing that your internal state is the primary cause and the external results are the effect that the universe has to deliver.
It's a big concept.
It is, and his practical advice, again, is maybe don't try to leap all the way there at once. Start small. Pick one desire that feels genuinely believable to you. Manifest that first. Use that success as real, tangible evidence to start building that crucial momentum of belief.
Just like you did with the blue feather.
Exactly like the blue feather. Build your proof, build your faith.
So perhaps just choosing one small principle we've talked about today. Maybe it's committing to consciously changing your posture and smiling when you feel down. Or maybe it's visualizing one small believable desire every single day. With genuine positive feeling, perhaps that could be a really compelling first step to begin exploring these powerful ideas for yourself using the specific roadmap laid out in this particular source.